Welcome back to another episode of Those Two Dudes. It's that dude, Josh.
That's that dude, Ruben.
Man, all right. It's been a little bit since we've been back at this. Josh and I are always texting. I mean, look, we were just going to talk, some baseball stuff. They just got out of strike. That's awesome. Baseball's back. Can't wait to watch it. We were also going to talk college basketball because, the tournament is finally here. By the time this airs, we would have already done an Instagram live about the tournament. So that's awesome. Check that out. Can't wait for that. Also keep an eye out. We'll be doing a bracket challenge here soon. But look, the football news is just nonstop, never ending. We have to jump into it and kind of just covering some stuff that we've missed before from the last time we recorded. First on the plate, we just want to cover Calvin Ridley real quick. Josh, you've seen Calvin Ridley. He's suspended for all of the 2022 season. He was gambling. He bet on a parlay, $1,500 for 1 week that he was actually out. And yeah, man, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, look, if you're betting like against your team, but that's one thing. But if you're betting for your team, as I believe he was, right? $1,500 parlay. And then another thing, it was a $1,500 is pennies for these guys. Pennies. So, I mean, I think that seems excessive, honestly. A year.
What do you think is appropriate?
Maybe a game or two suspension. For that bet, not against his team, that little money, one bet, a game, maybe
so
two.
From what I'm hearing, because I think there was proof that he bet for the Falcons to win. That's why they gave him a year. I think from what I've heard, had they found out the opposite was true and he bet against the Falcons, it would have been a lifetime ban.
I don't have no problem with the lifetime ban if you're betting against your own team. That means you could be in there fixing games, taking it easy, as some already think he was doing that, but I digress. I mean, there's no really proof of that. So now if there was proof of that, I could see a lifetime ban being warranted because you don't want that in your league. You want these guys on the up and up. You want them playing 100% for their squad. You don't want them throwing games. There's a lot of money in the NFL as far as like betting. People are betting big money on these games now.
Yeah.
So you don't want people out there rigging stuff like that for all the viewers out there. That makes your league look bad. It's not good. But that's not what it was. It was a $1,500 bet. Nothing, one bet, own team. Yeah, maybe slap them on the wrist, throw a game or two. Maybe 4 games max, quarter of a season. But the whole season for that, it seems a little excessive. But I can understand how.
It's frustrating because if we're just talking about gambling, then obviously that seems excessive, especially if he was betting for them. But the problem is no one is just looking at it from a gambling standpoint. You're lumping it up with everything else that is worthy of suspension, including, domestic abuse and sexual harassment, which those suspensions fall, I think, in the 4 to 6 game area. So you're prioritizing gambling over domestic abuse and sexual assault or harassment or whatever. So, I mean, that's where the mix-up is. And, that's where NFL needs to take a huge step back and look at the palette of games and finable offenses and recategorize that. Now, again, right, we're talking specifically about gambling. This is hard because you're messing with the integrity of the game, and you don't know now if your heart's not in it specifically for football, but now it's in it for financially and for financial gain on a betting standpoint. So it's not somebody that you would want to trust to play with. So that's hard.
Hey, I just read something that even Troy Aikman said he thinks it's a bit much. His years-long suspension.
Yeah.
His point was that, especially in today's climate, you're asking everybody to gamble and whatnot. As far as fans go, you're pushing it out there. You're putting it on.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because now the NFL has the deal with DraftKings.
Right. And then he said that on one hand, this is his quote, on one hand, you have the league encouraging everyone to gamble, and yet here Calvin really is suspended for an entire season. So I don't know. Aikman thinks it's a lot. I didn't know that.
I do think it's a lot. I do think it's a lot, but again, right? The integrity of the game, that's a big part of it. And
I understand that.
You want to trust who you're playing with, that their heart and head is in it for the right reasons. But then also taking a step back, the NFL, they need to look at all the finable offenses that you can possibly have in the NFL, and they need to recategorize that because it is way off.
Okay. Yeah. I can buy that. Also, though, you can't just this. There's always going to be black and gray, as far as like.
That's true.
Everything's is a little bit different as far as
it's all situational, right? Everything is situation based, so 100%. But still, gambling. I mean, right now, then this could go down the road of Pete Rose, so he'd still be have the lifetime ban in the major leagues. But
yeah, that was a little bit different though, right? Well, he said he was only betting for his own team too, so I don't know. But he a lot, right?
He said that, and then also his numbers would prove his point. He put Hall of Fame numbers. Mm-hmm. I think he's the career leader in hits of all time. I don't know, something like that. He had the great batting average, several time All-Star. So his numbers would prove to his point that he was never betting against the Reds. But anyways.
No, yeah, I know.
So moving on, a ton more news in the NFL world. Aaron Rodgers re-signed with the Packers. Kind of crazy, man. Kind of 4 years, like $7 billion. It feels like.
Hold on. I thought he denied those claims of a new.
Yeah, I think he did deny. He said the terms weren't official, but he is re-signing.
He said he'll be back for this year.
He's re-signing with the Packers.
What, okay. We don't know the deal for sure.
No,
but the initial said that it was supposed to be 4 years, $200 million, something insane.
4 years, $200 million, a guaranteed $153 million, something like that, which is absurd.
Yeah, it's unheard of. Really.
So my only question is, because we talked about this all season, Josh, are the Packers the best place for him to win a Super Bowl, especially after what we know this season?
I seriously thought this man was going to end up in Denver.
I thought he was going to leave. I didn't know if he was going to be in Denver. I thought he was going to leave.
And then for him to decide to come back, I am a little surprised. But look, when they're throwing that much money at you, plus you're already at home. So, if you stay, you're not going to look like the bad guy at all. It's like a win-win for him. And I don't know if Green Bay's the best situation for him. But it's a really good situation because I don't think that division's very good. So, I mean, you can win your division, get a bye in the first round, and who knows? You got a chance. So,
yeah, from a divisional standpoint, I mean, look at the posts. If you look at, social media from the Bears fans, from the Vikings fans and Lions, not that the Lions really had a chance, but Vikings and Bears fans, they just threw their hands up in the air because they were praying that Aaron Rodgers would be gone this season. From a playoff standpoint, you think it's fine, right? They'll be awesome. It's an automatic playoff berth. And probably if he were to go to, I know another team that was talked about was him going to the Titans. You would think that would be another spot where that could be automatic.
Another great spot for him. That would probably be a better spot because I think the Titans are probably a little bit better overall as far as the roster. And the division's not great either. So I think he would have had an awesome chance with the Titans, but supposedly the Titans weren't having it anyway. So
the owner said he was committed to Ryan Tannehill. I don't think Ryan Tannehill has ever heard those words, and I'm sure when the Tennessee Nation, Titan Nation heard that, they couldn't believe their ears that their owner was all in on Ryan Tannehill.
I'm part of that Titans Nation, and when I seen that on Twitter, I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. So I mean, it is what it is. But anyways, I think it's good. I think it's good that I like when players stick it out with one franchise for their entire career. And I still think they do got a really good chance to compete for a Super Bowl. I like it.
So that was obviously huge news for the day, right? And that would have been huge news for the entire week had it not been upstaged a few hours later by a major NFL trade. The Broncos, like you mentioned, they were big contenders to get Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers announced that he was re-signing. So Broncos fans were just like, oh my goodness, that sucks. Only for them 2 hours later to rejoice as Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks was traded to the Broncos.
So first of all, I like that for the Broncos, but did you not find it weird that it happened all in the same few hours? Like, how does that happen? The same day, within a few hours. I feel like the NFL, like, y'all don't break this news until they break this news. Like, I feel like there had to be something else, like behind the scenes there.
Yeah.
Not saying that like they made this stuff happen, but just like when the news was broke, I feel like the NFL has something to do with that.
Yeah. It was, the timing is hilarious, right? Because if you think about it, it's not Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson breaking the news. It's the NFL breaking the news. So, people like Adam Schefter, but even though his sources, they give him these news and they probably say, hey, we're going to break this on Tuesday. Let's do Aaron Rodgers first, and then let's break it a little bit later. So they just have stuff in the pipeline.
Yeah, it has to be that, because that there's no way that happens like that quickly, that fast, all within the same day. No, but anyway, yeah. I mean, we both thought he was going to be gone too. We thought Seattle was. Look, that the NFC West is a stacked division. Seattle seems kind of like that odd team out at this point. They had their peak and they're kind of on the low now. So yeah, we both thought he was going too. We didn't know where he was going though. So yeah, I expect Aaron Rodgers to be in Denver. So then when he's not, and then Wilson ends up there, I'm a little shocked. But I like it. And we were kind of talking off air about them possibly being the Rams of this coming season as far as going all in and trying to win a Super Bowl now. I can see that. This is just like the Rams. This is a team that's had a solid roster over the last few years. They haven't had a quarterback in place to really get them over the top, especially in that division, having so many star quarterbacks in it.
Yeah.
So they needed that guy, and they got that guy. So yeah, I think they might be all in. I also heard they might be getting what's his name back from the Rams. What's the name?
Von Miller?
Von Miller. Yeah, I heard they might.
Well, Von Miller said he wanted to go back to Denver.
Okay. So
I'm sure
that would be nice. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did either, because
I think especially now he'll go back to Denver, and I also think that he'll take a pay cut to go back to Denver, because that was a big part of why he was traded.
Right. No, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He sees Denver's all in with Wilson. He knows they have a chance. However, it's a tough division. I mean,
dude,
you still got Patrick
Mahomes. Tough.
I mean, the division's just loaded with quarterbacks.
But if you think about it, though, the other loaded division that you would say in the NFL is the NFC West that he was in. So,
exactly. So he was already in a loaded division, but now he gets a better supporting cast in another.
That's it.
So, yeah, I think it's good for him. I think it's good for the Broncos, and that division should be fun to watch this coming season.
I think, because Russell Wilson did say, he said something along the lines of he didn't want to be traded, but he would waive his no trade clause to, I think he said like Dallas, New Orleans, and like a couple other teams. So that's funny to throw that list out there, but you're not asking for a trade. And Denver was not on that list. So when they made the trade, he had to waive his no trade clause, and he obviously approved it. He thinks that great things.
Well, I'm sure. Look, when he was putting that list of teams up, it was probably like off the top of his head, like, I know I can win here, here, and here.
I think it was just like ideally like where he wants to play, not even thinking about the logic of actually playing on that team and how good that team is and how soon they can win. Because
this man's been getting beat up in Seattle. I know he's got to be thinking like, man, I'm tired of getting beat up.
Well, I mean, he was talking about like just I was just thinking he wanted to play in, I think it was Dallas, New Orleans, and Miami. which I don't think Miami is in a position to like a serious playoff contender, given they have the right quarterback. I just don't think they're there yet. But I mean, yeah, anyway, I mean, I think Denver's a great spot to add what you're saying. They have a really good defense. They have a good running game. That's huge. They got some decent receivers. But yeah, I mean, dude, this team was a quarterback away, and I think they got their guy. The only problem is now Russell Wilson has to play Patrick Mahomes twice a year, Justin Herbert twice a year, and Derek Carr twice a year, which Derek Carr is not no slouch. He's good.
Here's a question. How do you feel about, we like it, but we both like to trade for Wilson in Denver. How do you like to trade for Seattle?
So my sources have told me that because this outside looking in, right, this kind of looks like a rebuild year for Seattle. Mm-hmm. Like they're going to rebuild.
No, for sure.
My sources have told me that this, in fact, they're going after a big time quarterback. They're piling up draft picks right now to then trade those draft picks for somebody, whether it's a Deshaun Watson, whether it's Jimmy G, or maybe a Derek Carr. I think that's look, they might be players for them. And if that's not the case, if this is in fact a rebuild, then I think the next person out is Pete Carroll.
Well, they got 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and a 5th round. I mean,
you compare that up with your own picks to Houston. They could get Deshaun.
They probably could. So maybe that's what they're thinking, or maybe they're just thinking rebuild. But either way, I think it's solid for
they're setting themselves up for success, whether or not they get the quarterback now or next season or 2 seasons.
No, yeah, I agree. So I like it for Seattle as well. I think it's a win-win.
They got Drew Lock, but I mean, I think he's just a placeholder, right? He's not.
Oh, definitely.
He's not. I mean, look, if Drew Lock couldn't succeed with the Broncos team that he has now, and he's now going to go to the Seahawks where they have a wooden fence as an offensive line, like, no, it's just not going to work out for him.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, look, more trades happened. Let's talk about it, man. We got Carson Wentz to Washington from Indy. Quickly, who do you think won that trade?
Well, considering the Colts have nobody to replace him.
As of today.
Yeah. As of today, they have no one. Well, what did they get for the trade? I
think they got a 3rd and a 4th rounder.
I like it for Washington. That's another team I think their defense is stacked. They needed a quarterback. Look, I'm not 100% sold on Wentz, but I think he has potential. Like, I don't think he's terrible. And especially, look, the only other good team in that division is the Cowboys. So Giants ain't good. Eagles ain't good. I don't like either of them teams.
I mean, say what you will, right? Like about Wentz, but Washington just upgraded their quarterback spot.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, you can hate it if you want. And I know there's a lot of Washington fans out there that hate it.
Well, they wanted somebody else.
Do you want Tyler Heineke or do you want Carson Wentz? Like, it's not a hard decision. Like, you upgraded your quarterback spot. Now, as far as Indy, right? I know a lot of people.
I'm looking at this man's stats. He didn't do bad this year. What are we talking about? Well, I did not realize he threw 27 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. What? Well, why are people acting like he was complete dumpster juice?
Well, because look, I mean, they took a chance on him with the really good Colts roster.
And the Colts should have made the playoffs. Yes, they choked at the very end of the season. They choked. But they were in place to make the playoffs. Like, they were. But
you can't. There. You're not gonna. What are you gonna hang up a banner that said we were in position to make the playoffs?
Throw away a quarterback that obviously has solid numbers. Obviously had you right there on the cusp of the playoffs, just because of a 1-game, 2-game choke at the very end. Like, no. Like, who does that? Well, that shows that's today's world in a nutshell right there. Like, oh, it didn't work. Move on to the next thing.
Oh, it's always a what have you done for me lately? That's what it is.
Man's stats look solid to me. Yeah, I like this. I mean, if
Look,
he does that if he puts up these stats for Washington, I don't have a doubt they'll be in the playoffs.
they might even win the division because I think they've had like a different division winner every single year since like 04 in the NFC
Is it
East.
really? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that division does have there's teams rotating in and out
every year. And so like I know how the Cowboys, how well they did this year. I'm not convinced that they're going to win the division next year. And it's not because of the Cowboys, but it's because of how random that division is.
Okay. No, I mean, I like the Cowboys, but I don't trust the Cowboys.
But also, I look at it this way: Wentz is in Washington. He's going to be facing his former team twice a year. I think that he can look at that as a revenge game every single time.
That should be fun to watch.
So, that'll be good. He'll be paired up with Ron Rivera. I like Ron Rivera. I mean, yeah, I know seemingly Washington fans hate it. I don't hate it. You know, I mean, I'm not a Washington fan though either, so I don't know, but I don't hate it. Yeah. Other trades. Amari Cooper was traded to the Cleveland Browns for a bag of biscuits. He was traded to the Cleveland Browns for, I think, a 5th round draft pick, a 4th and a 5th or something like that.
6th.
5th and a 6th, I think.
5th and a 6th? Okay,
yeah.
I heard 6, but maybe. Either way, it's not. I mean, this dude's still a solid receiver. They didn't give up much for him, so.
They didn't. I know he was on the hook. He was on the books for a lot of money. But you know, look, the word on the street was Amari Cooper got into it with Dak Prescott post playoff loss. They got into it in the locker room, had a verbal confrontation, and Amari Cooper called Dak Prescott the Black Kirk Cousins. That happened. Say what you will about the rumor. It's just a rumor. It's what we've heard. You know, fast forward 3-4 days later, Amari Cooper was traded to Cleveland. So I don't know.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, look, right or wrong, you can't say that about you can't say that about your franchise quarterback. So yeah, he's gone. And they already got some receivers, younger receivers too in place
in Dallas, right? Trading him, I don't think it really meant all that much to them. Like, it's not a huge loss.
No, I don't. They would have found a way to push that under the table, perhaps, if he was so important. But when you got other receivers that are probably capable of filling those roles, his role, then yeah, you can't say something like that and get away with it so easily. So he's gone. But at Cleveland, I think they get a heck of he's still a heck of a receiver. So
he's still a heck of a receiver. Baker Mayfield's going to need all of Amari Cooper's talent because Jarvis Landry just requested a trade out of Cleveland, which he has. I think he's in his final year of the contract with Cleveland, and he has no guaranteed money remaining. So it means nothing to Cleveland financially to lose him.
Yeah, I'm starting to have doubts about Baker, but we'll save that for another day.
I am too. A couple more things in the NFL news. Let's see here. Tom Brady just announced he's coming back.
Bro, crazy. Look, I looked at that on Twitter. I just opened up Twitter. I seen it. Brady is back. I'm like, well, what are we talking about here? I had to click on it just to make sure it wasn't fake. And I'm going through the comments and I'm like, wow, this man's really coming back. So yeah, dang. So my childhood, every athlete from my childhood is not officially done yet. We still got one hanging around.
I am all in on Tampa Bay Buccaneers Sunday ticket game, watching every game that I can. You got to think that this is his last year. And I did post in our stories, but I truly believe, and my conspiracy theory will, if have you on this one, is I think he came back because he wanted to retire, but on his terms, his way last season. But the media broke the news before he was able to. He didn't like that. So he said, I'm coming back to spite the media because I want to be able to retire when I say it.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? Possible. Tom Brady might be that kind of a person. But I mean, part of me just thinks the man just wants to keep playing football. Like,
of course he does. He loves football.
He wants to keep playing football.
I would love to have anybody on my football team love football as much as Tom Brady loves football.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. This man is what? He's coming back for, I think he said his 23rd year.
23rd
It's
season.
unreal. 23. That was
If
unheard
someone
of.
says that they've been in the league 23, it's like, oh man, this dude's been kicking field goals since forever. Nah, he's a quarterback.
No doubt.
Crazy.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, I expect him to have a pretty good season.
I think the odds for Tampa Bay just shot up for their Super Bowl odds for next season. And I mean, you gotta think that they're favorites, right? To represent the NFC.
Favorite? Yeah, I guess so, because the Rams will no longer be
the Rams kind of seem like they may be falling apart a little bit. Obviously, I mean, we expect them to still be good, but I mean,
they're losing.
Russell Wilson's leaving the Seahawks. Aaron Rodgers still in the Packers, but I mean, dude, I don't know. We've talked about that. I don't know. So crazy, but yeah.
Definitely, if he's back there, they're definitely one of the favorites, if not the favorite. So yeah, they're still they're right there.
Well, shoo-ins to represent the NFC West in the playoffs. I'll give it that.
I mean, yeah, the NFC West is not
trash.
good.
They're trash.
No, I mean not the NFC West. The
NFC South. NFC South. Sorry. NFC South. Yeah, they're trash. Yeah. And then last thing on the NFL side, Deshaun Watson. He's clear of all charges in the eyes of the law. He's officially a free man. That's music to every GM's ears in the NFL. So now everybody's free to make.
Nobody wanted to touch him until they knew, but now
nobody wanted to touch him.
Clear legally, the man has too much talent for somebody not to bite on him.
He has too much talent, and he's young.
Not every team would want to bite on him, but there are those teams that do want to grab him.
Especially now, though, that he's clear.
Right. No, yeah, definitely. So where does he end up? I don't know. I heard Carolina is a possibility.
I heard Carolina too. I heard Seattle could be making a pitch. I heard Indianapolis could be making a pitch. I mean, I even heard Philly might be making a pitch, but I think
what? You think they trade him to Indianapolis though? A divisional opponent? Like if he torches them year after year.
No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think so. But Carolina, Seattle definitely seem like some realistic.
Yeah, because those are NFC people too, so you'd almost never see those teams.
Correct.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. That's pretty crazy. Deshaun Watson. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sure he'll be all right, but that remains to be seen where he goes, and I'm sure we'll see more of it a lot sooner than later. Let's jump to the NBA side real quick, Josh. Look, we got to talk about it, man. Our dude, our coach Greg Popovich, just set the all-time winningest record of the most wins of all time. Josh, is Greg Popovich the greatest coach of all time?
Well, first of all, as a Spurs fan and someone that grew up in the San Antonio area, I've been a fan of the Spurs since before he was even there.
Me too.
That ages me. That ages me.
Me
but
too.
I also got to watch his entire career. So
do you remember how he came about? I remember it.
Well, he was an assistant for Bob Hill, correct?
Yes. But do you remember why Bob Hill? So Bob Hill, yeah, he was the coach. And before Bob Hill, I think it was George Lucas, but it was Bob Hill. John Lucas. I'm sorry, George Lucas is a Star Wars guy. Yeah, John Lucas. And so he got the gig because I remember David Robinson and Sean Elliott were hurt all season. So they had a losing record. Bob Hill got fired. And then Greg Popovich took over. And then we got Duncan the next year because of those injuries.
Yeah.
And then I guess the rest is history, right?
The rest is history. You teamed up one of the greatest bigs of all time with one of the greatest coaches of all time, and a solid front office that helped put a great roster around them. And 5 championships later, and the most wins of any coach of all time later. Here we are. To your question, do I think he's the greatest? Look, it's debatable. There's greats. You look at the
like Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach.
Yeah. You talk about those guys mainly.
Pat Riley, maybe.
Pat Riley, he's another one you could throw in there. He didn't coach as long, I don't think, as some of those other guys. I don't even know if Phil Jackson didn't coach as long either, I don't believe. But those are the guys you think of. Those are probably the 4 that really come to mind. There's some other great coaches as far as like regular season wins, but they don't really have the championships to go with it. So those are really the guys right there. And you could debate amongst those, but to me, I think Popovich is there. If you think about Red Auerbach, like he had, first of all, he coached at a time when there was only 8 teams in the league. Second of all, his team was like the most stacked team in the league
ever.
So
Nothing but Hall of
Bill
Famers.
Russell and a whole bunch of Hall of Famers. So, and then you think about Phil Jackson as one of the other guys, and he had superstars among superstars for both the Lakers and the Bulls. You have Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, and then you got Shaq and Kobe. So you have superstars. Whereas Popovich, he had Timmy D. He had Robinson, but Robinson was at the tail end of his career. Other than maybe one of those championships, he was still really good. Probably in
99. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, other than that, he had Duncan, and then you had Parker and Ginobili. I think they're awesome players. I think they're Hall of Famers because of their complete body of work, the amount of championships.
I think Parker is a Hall of Famer.
I think Ginobili is. He got a gold medal, right?
Yeah.
Ginobili got a gold medal, and he got an All-Star 2 in there, and plus the championships, sixth man. So yeah, I think Ginobili is also a Hall of Famer. But they weren't like superstars. They were like longtime fringe All-Star players that helped win multiple championships. That's what I think. I do buy into longevity and teams, what you contribute to team success. So I think they're Hall of Famers for that reason. But you don't think of them as like superstars, like you think of Kobe, like think of Shaq, Jordan. You don't Tim Duncan. You don't even think you don't think of them in that same breath. So I think Pop did it with a little bit less than those other guys did it. So and then you put in the fact that he has the most wins of all time. I'm with Pop. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I do think he's the greatest coach of all time. I mean, I would just be piggybacking off everything you just said, but I mean, it's roster based, right? He had the same roster more or less, and he did it with one team, and it was the longevity. I mean, from the time Duncan was there until the time he retired, the Spurs made the playoffs every single year. So, I mean, I think in an age of, superstars and then even super teams, the Spurs, they were just straight consistent. So I'll give the nod to Greg Pop. Before we move on, Josh, quickly, I guess this is a good segue, right? Because now I do want to bring up college basketball. The brackets have been announced. Really quick, a little breaking news here for you. I just saw the NIT selections.
Where are my Bobcats?
Texas State Bobcats are going to be playing. They're not ranked. They're not in the top 4 seed. But they're playing against North Texas, who's a 2 seed.
Oh, okay, I like it. I knew I had a feeling we were going to either get SMU, North Texas, or A&M. So we got North Texas. Cool, I like it. Conference USA, Sun Belt matchup. North Texas was really good this year. They got upset in their conference tournament. They made the NCAA tournament last year and made a little bit of noise. So yeah, I like it.
In their half of the bracket, the top 4 seeds are number 1's Oklahoma, number 2's North Texas. The screen just went off, but number 4 was Colorado, which I know Colorado went far in the Pac-12 tournament.
So what? How did that? I don't know much about the NIT. I definitely want to watch it this year because my Bobcats are in there. But so each region gets top 4. So I know it's a 32 team tournament. So each region gets a top 4, and then they fill out the rest from there. That 8th rank.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, we'll take it. We got number 2, North Texas. Anyways.
So on that topic, the March Madness is here. Keep a lookout, folks. We're going to be doing March Madness bracket challenge. Keep an eye out. That's going to be awesome. We did it last year. We actually had a great turnout last year. We're going to do it again this year. It's free to enter. You can do up to 2 entries, and there's a prize for the winner. So, I mean, look, it costs you nothing. Go fill it out, and then you'll be surprised if you win with the trip to Disney World. No, not Disney World, but something fun.
Definitely not that, but fun little prize.
Yeah. But yeah, nonetheless, look, let's go over the bracket real quick. Just want to talk about really Look, I mean, because this season has been wide open. There's been so much change in the top 10 all year, including number one. I mean, looking at the standings, at the rankings of the round of 64, I mean, of these top four seeds in each region, are there any that you really trust or that you don't trust?
And let me glance at this for 1 second here, just to give you a better idea of what I think.
So
I think
go ahead.
Looking at Duke looks like they're set up for success. I think I like Duke's position.
In the West, right? They're in the West. I will say one team that I do
have to run
trust,
into Gonzaga.
one team that I really do trust. I trust Texas Tech. I think they played.
They're right there with Duke. I think they meet in the Sweet 16.
Yep. And I would take Tech in that matchup. I would. I trust Tech. I trust Gonzaga, but yeah, I don't know, man.
What about Baylor? Last year's national champion.
Baylor? I don't know, man.
They're a 1 seed.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm thinking Baylor. Baylor's good, but
I like their region bracket too. I like that bracket. There's some teams in there I like. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking. Okay, so 1 through 4 in the West is Gonzaga, Arkansas is 4, Texas Tech is 3, and then Duke is 2.
Look, man, like
what of those 4 teams?
There's so much parity in college basketball that
so much.
It's hard. Like
so of those 4 teams, though, Josh, Duke, Texas Tech, Arkansas, and Gonzaga, who do you not trust? Like, you know, for a fact they won't.
Probably Arkansas.
Yeah, I could see them losing in the first round.
Yeah,
they play Vermont in the first round, and you don't ever hear it about what
that team is on a tear this season, man. They ran through their conference. In Vermont, look, this team, Vermont. This is a program that has sustained success in college basketball. They've been winning for years, like quietly, yes, because they're in a small conference, but. Man, there's so I think it's more like it's really impressive when you're in a small conference and you could still sustain like consistent success like they have. Like they've been good. Like
you only ever hear about Vermont in March.
You always hear about it, right? Like
in March. Yeah.
Yeah, in March, Vermont, you hear it because they're constantly like a solid program. Like that's some awesome stuff. And they ran through their conference this year. Anyways, yeah. It's so tough, but yeah, I think I like Duke. The players are going to be going all out for Coach K's last season.
But see, I thought that too. I thought that when they had their last home game at Cameron,
it was a big show. It was a big show.
But then I also thought that in the ACC
now it's all about playing ball.
I thought that in the ACC tournament, I thought they would run that for Coach K, and they lose in the championship game.
Okay, fair enough. I obviously like Gonzaga. I think that team's stacked. They're the team I've probably watched the most this year because I like small conferences. And of all these top teams, they're probably the one I've watched the most. And the Chet Holmgren and then Timmy, that duo, and then they got guards too. Like that team is really legitimately stacked. So I mean, obviously, I see them going deep as well. I know Chet, he's a freshman, so he's young, but. That team is crazy good, man. They got talent. They got talent across the board. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I just really like Tech. I really like Tech. I've seen them all year with the first year coach after their coach previously left to go to Texas. I like Tech.
Ain't that ironic that their coach left and they're in a better position than
That's how it works. That's how it works with all these coaches that go to Texas. They always seem to fail. I don't know why. Still haven't figured that out yet, but I got faith in Tech, man. I'm looking at the East region now. The top 4 seeds are Baylor 1, Kentucky 2, Purdue 3, and UCLA 4. I think this is the biggest runaway division for Baylor.
Yeah, that's what I said. I like Baylor. I don't look. They got Norfolk State, then they have North Carolina Marquette. I think they have a great. I'm looking at this bracket. Maybe maybe Kentucky in the Elite Eight. But yeah, I really like their odds of getting back.
Yeah.
I also like St. Mary's in that bracket. St. Mary's ain't the most athletic team in the world, so some of those teams could hurt them.
Yeah, but they're in a 5-12 matchup, man. You know that 5-12 matchup is always dangerous.
Yeah, they're in a 5-12. They're the 5 though, which speaks to how good they are and how good the West Coast Conference was this year. So they're a 5 seed and the second best team in the West Coast Conference. And also San Francisco, another team from the West Coast Conference, is in that same region with them as a 10 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So the West Coast got 3 teams in this year, with Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and San Francisco. San Francisco, I've watched them over the last few years. I like them too, but it's a mid-major matchup in the first round in a 7-10 Murray State against San Francisco.
That's pretty cool.
Kentucky, so that's interesting. But anyways, what else?
So I'm moving in the South region. The South region, I'm looking at the top 4 seeds. We're looking at Arizona 1, Villanova 2, Tennessee 3, and Illinois 4. Honestly, I don't know a bunch about Villanova this season, but I know Tennessee's been killing it, and I know Illinois been killing it.
Tennessee's been red hot lately, and a lot of people think they should have been a 2 seed and not a 3 seed.
I should have. They won the SEC championship game. Why wouldn't they be a 2 seed?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. That was a lot of people.
So I like Tennessee, and I really like Illinois too. They won a share of the Big Ten regular season championship conference.
Who's a 2 seed in there? Oh,
Villanova. I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of Villanova this year.
No, neither did I. I didn't watch a lot of Big East basketball as it is. Houston is a 5 seed. Houston's got talent, but I don't know if they're not. They might not be as good as last year's squad.
Yeah, I'm looking at Arizona's side. They look good through the second round, but I think that Sweet 16 matchup, I think Arizona could lose to Illinois.
TCU came on late to steal a spot in the NCAA because they were on the outside looking.
They were on the outside, but yeah, the bubble, and they played UT and they beat UT. Or
they got another big win, right?
Twice in the regular season, but then they lost. TCU got them in the tournament.
I think TCU also stole a win from somebody. Was it Kansas? I don't know. They stole a win from
Kansas. Kansas ended up winning the whole thing.
No, not in the tournament, but towards the end of that
season. They beat Tech, I think.
Tech. Okay, they got 2 big wins. I know. So yeah, they jumped in there because they weren't. I think they were on the outside looking in.
Yeah, you're right.
9th seed here, so congrats to them.
So that's the top 4 right there. That's going to be good. I mean, I again, right there, I'm liking Tennessee and Illinois. We'll see how that goes. And then in the Midwest region, the top 4 seeds are Kansas 1, Auburn 2, Wisconsin 3, and Providence 4.
Interesting. I think I like Kansas. I mean, Kansas, but
I like Auburn.
I mean, yeah. Auburn too. The SEC was really good, so they're battle tested. But some of the Big 12 solid too. Richmond stole a bid. They weren't going to go at all. They were the 6th seed in the Atlantic 10, I believe, Atlantic 10 conference, going in their conference tourney, and they won the whole thing. They won by 2 in the championship game. So they stole someone's bid. Likely, good chance they stole either SMU or Texas A&M spot. Both those teams were I think SMU was the last team in when I saw, and then Richmond won their game, and then they were the first team out. So Richmond stole somebody's spot today earlier on.
Well, I'm surprised they didn't get a play-in game then.
Yeah, I don't know how they decide who gets the play-in game. I don't know how that works, but yeah, I mean their overall record was pretty solid, but their conference record was only 10-8 in the regular season.
Yeah,
they were the 6th in their conference tourney, but yeah, they stole someone's spot today.
Sweet.
March for you.
What's up?
I said that's March for you.
That's March. I love it. I love it, guys. And we're gonna be posting up the bracket challenge. The playing games start, I think, on Tuesday, and I think the tournament starts Thursday. But so you got until Wednesday night or Thursday morning to fill it out. But tell all your friends, tell everybody. Go sign up. It's free to sign up. You win. You win an actual prize. Come on, man, go sign up.
Yeah, I guarantee you have a better chance to win a prize from our little bracket challenge than you do the ESPN bracket
from millions. Also, side note, before we finish off here, I want to shout out a very random shout out to the women's Incarnate Ward basketball team. I was accidentally watching the tournament, the bracket release for the women's side, and Incarnate Ward, they won the Southland tournament, and they have a play-in game against Howard. Well, the winner of that game plays overall number 1 seed South Carolina.
Ouch. Well, at least they get a play-in game, so they have a chance to get an NCAA tournament win. And Incarnate Ward has not been Division I very long, so for them to already be in the NCAA tournament, that's an accomplishment.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So shout out, shout out Incarnate Ward. You know, if you get that win against Howard in that playing game, awesome. The over-under will probably be about 55.5 in the first round against South Carolina. You know, we'll see, but
that's tough, man. Women's the parity is definitely not the same as it is in the men's.
No,
it's rough, man. It's some of those, but they were the first one to have a 16 beat a 1 seed, which is just mind-boggling for me to think about because some of those games are so lopsided. It's just unbelievable. So the fact that a 16 did beat a 1 in women before men, that's wow. That was an upset for the ages.
Yeah. So cool, man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. College basketball, March Madness is here. I know we'll be talking more about it. Keep a lookout, guys. We got those Marvel episodes that were out. Go check those out. Yeah, man. We're back on it, man. We got a lot more news. Got a lot more stuff to keep catching up on.
Live stream. It won't be tomorrow for y'all when y'all see this, but
yeah, by the time this comes out, the live stream will already be out. So go check that live stream out on the college basketball, breaking that down. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll break down our brackets. Cool, man. Outside. I mean, I know. Look, Josh, I know our lives basically revolve around sports. But look, I think we live in a world where everybody's binge watching something on TV or just watching several movies on any streaming outlet. Is there anything you're binge watching out there that's worth bringing up?
I just binge watched some. There was only a few episodes though, so I don't know if they're gonna come out more. But it was Netflix. I guess I got it from my mom because she used to always watch them crime shows, the mystery shows or whatever, where they're trying to solve like a crime.
But you're just a basic girl then. That's what girls are all about these days, watching those crime.
It was on Netflix. It was like called Worst Roommate Ever.
Oh, I just saw the first episode of that the other day.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's terrible. It was. I mean, I don't know how people get roped in these situations. It just blows my mind.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
I watched every one of those episodes. It was about 7 episodes or so. So it was good. It pulled me in. So I don't get pulled in easy either. I'm not a show. Like you said, I watch a lot of sports. I do not get pulled into a lot of shows. So I got pulled in. I watched. What about you?
I just finished this. It was the show on Hulu, Pam and Tommy. It was about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, about their sex tape that came out in the mid-90s and how it kind of like revolutionized, essentially the sex industry and the internet, right? Everything was colliding at one time and how it affected their lives too, because I didn't know anything about it. I was a kid. So it was kind of interesting to see it from their standpoint, especially now as an adult and understanding a lot more. I thought that was kind of cool. And then I just started watching. I'm super late on this bandwagon, but I just started watching the show Ozark. It's on Netflix.
Ozark. I think which one is that? I might have started watching that
It's
too.
with Jason Bateman, who's traditionally a comedic actor, but it's about
his girlfriend or his wife cheated on him or something, right?
So that is part of it, sure. Yeah, but essentially they're money laundering money for like the cartel.
I just started watching that too. Yeah,
I'm on the third episode right now of season 1. So and that'll progress as we go on. But I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. So I'm going on that train. So we'll see how that is.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I might watch an episode now that I forgot it. See, I don't get pulled into shows easy, even if they're pretty good. So I watched a couple episodes, but then I stopped and I honestly forgot about it kind of until you just brought it up. So I might, once we get off here, I might actually watch it.
So go check it out, man. Go check it out. Maybe we'll do a whole recap on this show, Ozark. That'd be wild. But yeah, man, that's cool. Go check that out. Let us know what shows you're binge watching. Let us know who you're taking in the tourney, what episodes you're looking at. And also let us know where do you think Deshaun Watson's going to end up, dude. That'll be up in the air, but who knows? By the time we record again, he might already be on another team. Which actually, Josh, I just saw an update that the Saints are also interested in Deshaun Watson. So
I like that.
Makes sense.
First of all, he doesn't have to go too far. Houston to New Orleans. The NFC South, other than the Bucs, pretty wide open.
Yeah.
Saints were on the cusp of the playoffs already.
And also, mind you, the Saints, they own Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay, though, their only win against the Saints in the last two in the Tom Brady area, Tampa Bay's only win against the Saints was in the playoffs. They're 0-4 against them in the last 2 years.
That is pretty crazy, especially last year. But anyways, I like that one. So who knows though? Who knows where he ends up?
Cool, man. Well, check it out. Remember to check us out at Those Two Dudes Podcast, Spotify, TikTok, Those Two Dudes, Facebook. I said all that wrong. At Those Two Dudes Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, and then Facebook, Spotify, Those Two Dudes. Check us out. Drop comments. Let us know. Check out all our stuff, even the Marvel stuff, man. We're always talking fun things, man. Go check it out, and don't forget to sign up for the March Madness bracket. Get on it, guys. It's that dude Josh.
That's that dude Ruben.
Like and subscribe.